You are looking at the endurance, trapped and crushed by the pack ice of the Weddell Sea. This is what it looks like when a primary vehicle for success fails completely. The physical structure that was supposed to carry these men to their goal is now a liability. Ernest Shackleton launched this expedition in 1914 to be the first to cross the Antarctic continent. Instead, he found himself and his 27 men stranded on a moving ice floe, thousands of miles from the nearest human contact, with their only means of transport splintering into the dark water. Modern leaders and creators face a similar invisible threat. Shifting market forces, sudden platform updates, and economic downturns act like this ice, quietly surrounding and crushing the established methods we rely on to navigate. This creates a definitive choice. When external forces destroy your primary way of operating, you can either cling to the sinking wreckage or find a new way to move. Shackleton chose to move. Survival in these moments depends on a willingness to strip away every physical advantage until only one thing remains: the psychological resilience of the group. Shackleton began preparing his team for extreme volatility long before they ever reached the Antarctic. You can see the resulting crew here, standing together against the elements. During the hiring process in London, he ignored traditional naval resumes. He used unconventional interviews to filter for optimism, a sense of humor, and adaptability, prioritizing these traits over raw technical skill. This approach reflects a specific insight into volatility. When the environment changes, technical legacies often matter less than the ability to learn and adapt. In a modern context, a team's psychological flexibility is what determines if they can pivot when their primary platform vanishes. When the physical tools of a trade are gone, when the funding dries up or the market shifts, human cohesion is the only reliable tool a leader has left to deploy. Building a resilient organization starts with this filter. It requires identifying generalists who can stay functional in the dark, rather than specialists who only thrive when the environment is stable. Once the ship was lost, Shackleton recognized that traditional naval hierarchy had become an outdated weight. It no longer served their survival, so he dismantled it. He adopted a style of leadership where he personally took on the most menial chores. By scrubbing floors and digging ditches alongside his men, he established a baseline of absolute equality. He also enforced precise daily routines. To prevent jealousy over scarce resources, he used a ritual where one man called out names to assign portions of food blindly, ensuring no one could claim they were being treated unfairly. This focus on the group's internal state influenced what they physically carried. When they had to discard gear to lighten their load, Shackleton ordered the crew to abandon extra food rations to save a heavy banjo, famously calling the instrument mental medicine. Contemporary leaders facing prolonged economic winters must apply this same logic. Grounding rituals are necessary to guard a team against the exhaustion that comes with a long crisis. By removing legacy status symbols and maintaining these shared habits, Shackleton built a defense against the slow decay of his team's morale. But even with strong routines, internal dissent is a lethal threat. Fear and negativity from a few individuals can spread like a virus, destroying unity faster than the freezing temperatures. On the ice, where the odds of survival were essentially zero, the psychological contagion of panic was more dangerous than the elements. Shackleton's solution was to keep his critics closer. He deliberately assigned the loudest complainers to sleep in his own tent, where he could monitor their moods and manage their egos personally. This map shows the scale of that mitigation. Shackleton took the 3 worst naysayers on this 800-mile lifeboat journey, physically removing them to prevent spreading doubt. By crossing the Scotia Sea with his critics, he created a massive geographic barrier from the main group. In a high-stakes crisis, the decision to keep critics within reach is a structural protocol designed to stop internal rot before it starts. Managing a team through a collapse requires a hard firewall between the leader's internal turmoil and the signals they broadcast to the group. Shackleton was meticulous about his physical presence. Every morning before exiting his tent, he adjusted his posture, shouldered up, to project focus and optimism to his men. In private, his journals tell a different story. He experienced deep anxieties and crushing exhaustion, but confined those feelings to his diary and second-in-command. Modern business leaders face this exact same paradox. You must be honest about the facts of a situation without allowing your own anxieties to terrify the people who look to you for direction. This is the burden of command, the emotional discipline required to absorb a team's panic without ever reflecting it back to them. The statistical odds against survival were staggering. This is the James Caird, the 22-foot wooden lifeboat the team used to cross 800 miles of the world's most violent ocean. After making landfall, Shackleton and 2 others completed a grueling trek across unmapped glaciers to reach this whaling station and organize a rescue. The result of this rigorous focus on the internal health of the group is recorded in the final count. 28 men entered the ice and 28 men returned home. They survived by stripping away everything but the drive to their objective. A team with no physical assets left, moving through a dark, unknown void. Market winters or sudden shifts in an algorithm will eventually render an existing approach obsolete. The ice will close in, and the structure you rely on will fail. Look at your own organization. Identify the one dead asset, the outdated hierarchy, or the failing method you are desperately clinging to, because that is the thing that is currently sinking you.